We are slowly but surely making our way into the holiday season. I don't know about you guys, but I am starting to see a lot of holiday kits making their way online, starting to see them in stores. I'm also seeing a ton of holiday decor, so I'm starting to get into the mindset of gift giving as well as just all of the sales in general. Now, we are going to be approaching this a little bit differently. This is not going to be your regular Sephora recommendations video where I talk about all the different products that are available at Sephora that I think that you should purchase, but rather the products from Sephora that I use time and time and time again, the ones that I have used past the virality of each product that I genuinely think that you guys are going to love. If you caught my last Sephora sales video, I talked all about why you should not shop the sale, and the reason being is because a lot of these brands offer way better deals and way better discounts during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So I list out over 60 different brands that have some sort of sale on their own websites. And we talk all about if I think it's worth it to buy on their website or if I think it's better that you shop it at the Sephora sale. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of products that are so good at Sephora that I think are worth having. However, I don't think it's worth buying with the Sephora savings event, the Sephora sale discounts. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. My name's Christina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. First and foremost, if you have not watched that Black Friday, Cyber Monday versus Sephora sale video, go ahead and click out of this video and watch that one so you guys can see all of the brands that I think are doing way better or probably going to be doing way better sales than Sephora is. There's about 37 brands, I think, that have way better sales than the 20% off that Sephora is offering for Rouge members. Now, if you are not a Rouge, if you are a VIB or an insider and you get 10 to 15% off, use this video sort of like a stand-in video for my Black Friday, Cyber Monday recommendations. The products that I'm going to be recommending to you guys during that time, like when we're in Black Friday, Cyber Monday timeframe, you know, I am planning on coming out with another video talking all about recommendations from other brands that are going to have way better sales than the current Sephora sale. Now, I do want to still be more responsible with consumption, and I think you guys are probably on the same page with me there because the holidays are very, very expensive. And I do want to say that I think even though I'm giving you guys these recommendations for these products, I don't want you to shop them unless you were already considering it. Please don't let me sway you into buying something that you don't even have any sort of like thought about purchasing. Please use this as like your final push to purchasing these products, okay? I don't want you to feel any sort of pressure, especially because every single product that I have on this list is going to be permanent. It's a permanent product within that brand's line. And a lot of these are not going to be brand new launches. These are things that have launched all throughout this year and even past this year. So really there's no rush. These just have my stamp of approval. And for me, these brands are going to probably have better deals on Sephora's website during their sale than what they would have individually on their websites. Now, I don't know for sure what deals these brands are gonna have for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but looking at the trends of the last couple of years and kind of like what they've offered in the past, it seems like it might be a safe bet to purchase these during the Sephora sale if you are earning about 20% off. Like I mentioned again, if you're only earning 10 to 15% off during the sale, just hold off, add this to your Black Friday, Cyber Monday wish list, and let's get started. First off, I want to talk about these Patrick Ta eyeshadow duos, and just so you guys know, I am not saying to buy these. I just want to talk about this because I feel like everyone is going to have the urge to purchase this. I know currently it's sold out on Sephora's site. You can still pick up a couple of these shades on Kohl's website with Sephora, but I'm pretty sure they're going to restock these before the sale ends. So I wanted to go ahead and address this. This one I got in the shade Talk to My Team, and just to give you guys like the gist of my thoughts on it, it's fine. It's okay. This formulation is really, really beautiful. But if we're looking at this as a brand new, innovative, never seen before type of texture, formula, look, I don't necessarily agree with that. Patrick Ta did address the whole controversy with how expensive these are. These are $42, but of course you are gonna get a little bit of a discount if you're shopping it through Sephora right now. But even so, Patrick did address the whole situation with the prices, and he did mention that this is going to be a slurry of 100% pearl pigments. Those are expensive formulations, those are expensive ingredients. I totally understand it in that front. They also gave us a mirror here, which also adds to the cost of things. I totally understand where Patrick Ta and his team are coming from when they price these. For two eyeshadows that are relatively large considering what other single shadows are on the market size-wise and price-wise, I think it's fairly decent, but I want to address why I think there's so much controversy about this product currently. So for me, the way that I see it is that price point, $42, right off the bat, you're kind of like, that's expensive. And the reason being is $42 is still $42. I'd never go through both of these duos, so I understand that it's going to last forever, but that's not the problem. It seems like Patrick Ta and the brand in general is starting to go in the route of luxury makeup. They're kind of reaching for pigmentation, formulation, innovation similar to what we see in luxury makeup. But the problem is that we weren't introduced to Patrick Ta Beauty as a luxury brand. You know what I'm saying? We were kind of introduced to Patrick Ta as more of getting value for your money. So we were introduced to his big palettes, and while that already has a pretty high price point just in general, you get so many different eyeshadows in those large palettes. And then of course his duos. He has the bronzer duos, the blush duos, even the foundation, like the cream foundation that comes with the actual cream foundation and a powder. And in my opinion, these are priced pretty high, right? But they're still affordable. You still think of this as getting a two-in-one. So we were introduced to this whole duo idea as being 2 for 1, getting the best value for your money. But then we started getting introduced to these higher price points. These new price points, starting with the price of his highlighters, that was kind of a shocker for us. And it was kind of just like, okay, you know, mainly because not everyone wears highlighters. So it didn't necessarily feel like something that all of us were going to have to purchase as like a staple part of our routine. So most of us were able to just brush it off and be like, okay, that's expensive, but it's just not for me. And then we got the release of his foundation, and that was even more of a shocker. That foundation was $58. $58 for a foundation, standard size and everything. But the reason being for that price point was because the formulation, the ingredients, X, Y, and Z. Of course, that's always the reason why brands price what they price, because of those different quality ingredients, you know? So of course that makes sense to most of us. We understand that, but still, if you were going to have a foundation, this was going to be your one foundation that you use, because I understand that a lot of people only have a select few foundations that they like to cycle through. $58 is not going to be a cheap foundation to have to restock every couple of months if this is going to be your go-to. You know what I'm saying? So that one definitely kind of hurt us. The reason why I feel like this is hitting us so hard, this specific shadow, not because we're not seeing the Urban Decay Moon Dust shadows being priced the same, not because we're not seeing I don't know, Hourglass Scattered Light eyeshadows or Charlotte Tilbury single shadows being priced similarly. The reason being is because Patrick Ta Beauty did not give us a second to breathe and process the new pricing that they're giving us, the new direction that it seems like they're going in. So it's just one thing after another, and this kind of felt like the final straw, you know? I think another reason is because he has huge eyeshadow palette, and these are actually what I personally think are going to be worth purchasing during the Sephora sale, because Patrick Ta's website, I don't think that they have done really good site-wide sales for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, at least nothing that I was able to find. I specifically get the most use out of the Major Dimensions 3 palette. This is going to be the completely matte palette, and all of these formulations are so smooth, so buttery, really pigmented. I will say there is a lot of fallout here, but even so, you get so much value for your money in these. Anyways, that is my whole entire rant about the eyeshadow duos. I had a lot of thoughts and I know everyone has a lot of thoughts on them, so I just wanted to share my thoughts on them as well. But let's go ahead and switch gears and start talking about the eyeshadow palettes. So these, in my personal opinion, are so good. I actually used both of these palettes today to get the look that I'm wearing today, and I think that it is quite nice. I think these are absolutely lovely palettes. They're literally so creamy and buttery and pigmented, every single shade. In this palette right here, I have dipped my brush into. I have loved all of them, and they come with 2 creams as well right here at the bottom. I used the brown one today as my eyeliner, and it's just so nice to have that versatility. He does offer 2 cream shades in all of his palettes. I think they're so versatile. These are a little bit finicky to travel with just because they're really big, and I worry that because this formulation is so soft, I worry that there is going to be some breakage here, but I have traveled with my palettes before and I haven't had any issues so far. So I would recommend, if you're gonna go for any sort of eyeshadow from Patrick Ta, I'd recommend going for one of the palettes. There's so much versatility. You can make so many different looks. The value for the money is just there. You get creams, you get powders. I mean, it's the best deal for me for the eyeshadows. Continuing on talking about some eyeshadows, there is actually eyeshadows from Sephora Collection that I think are really good. I used this eyeshadow today to top some of those Patrick Ta eyeshadows for this look. This one is in the shade Choco XS and it's gorgeous. I will say that a lot of these eyeshadows are pressed relatively hard, so you really have to dig in there, but when you get in there and you pat it onto the lids, it can give you such a beautiful one and done eyeshadow look. I feel like these eyeshadows are very much no fuss. There's a lot of different shades. They have mattes, they have shimmers, they have metallics, they have duochromes, and at the price point that they're at, especially if you're getting these on sale, and all of Sephora Collection right now is 30% off for the Sephora sale, I think that they're so worth it. If you just want 1 or 2 different shades and you don't necessarily want to go out and buy an entire eyeshadow palette, then these are definitely worth it. I love this one especially because it just gives me such a rich chocolate shade, and it's super versatile, so I can kind of like sheer it out so it's not as dark, or I can use it like I did today and get it to look a little bit more smoky. So these are incredible. I have a ton of these shades, but this one in particular is the one I get the most use out of, so I wanted to mention this for you guys today. Next, we're going to be talking about some cream shadows that I never stop talking about, and they are the Kulfi Zari Eyes cream eyeshadows, specifically in the shades Bronze Brocade and Sona Sona. Sona Sona is going to be more of a sparkly, glittery lid topper, but you can use it as like a one and done eyeshadow if you wanted, or like the main color, because it does have a little bit of a champagne base shimmer to it. And then Bronze Brocade right here, which is such a beautiful bronze, almost sort of coppery shade as well, and this is hands down my favorite shade. It's the one that I get the most use out of with these Kulfi eyeshadows. The reason why I think that these are so incredible is they have this moussey texture to them, so it makes it really easy to pick up this product with your fingertips. With a brush, you get the same sort of strength and pigmentation either way, and when you tap it onto the lids, it kind of goes on in sort of this moussey film-like texture, and they completely dry down. They do not budge all day. You do not need a primer, and I can't say that about every single cream eyeshadow that I own, but I can say that about every single shade of this Kulfi eyeshadow that I have. I think I have 4, maybe 5 different eyeshadows from them, and I love every single one. I will say it is quite expensive when you look at the retail price of these, but you need the tiniest amount, and this is the first one that I have picked up, and it's still super creamy, really blendable and pigmented. pigmented. Nothing really has changed about the formulation. So I think that this is going to last you a very long time. And like I said, these do not budge. You don't need to use a primer with it. You don't need to use any other product with it if you didn't want to. I just love the versatility of this and how easy it is to use. Let's now talk about the foundation that I would recommend to you guys. It's going to be this Haus Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. Mine is all beat up because I have traveled with this. I use this constantly. I have this in the shade 260 light medium cool. You would think that I have that memorized by now with how many times I have talked about this foundation. This looks so good on my skin year round. If you guys don't know, I have oily acne prone skin. So for me, finding something that is going to last and actually give me really good even coverage is very important. So for me, this is going to be one of the most reliable foundations in terms of it always looking good on the skin, no matter what I use to layer with it, no matter what concealer or powder I use with it. I have used this pretty much with every single complexion product that I own, and every single one always turns out very flawless. When you first apply it, it definitely feels more like a thin liquid foundation, and you can go in with a very thin layer but still get very even, very high coverage. For me, I would say that this is a medium to full buildable coverage. This is probably as high of a coverage that I would typically go. I like to really buff this into my brush and then go in, stipple it onto the face, buff it onto the face, and kind of swirl it and go in with kind of a lighter layer. And I find that if you do that, you get such a natural finish to the skin. It doesn't necessarily add any sort of like grease or dewiness to the skin. In my B-roll here, you'll see that I look very shiny here, but that's because today I opted to go for more of a hydrating primer. So my skin already was very glowy and dewy, and this kind of just preserved that look, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. Usually if I go in with more of a blurring primer or more of a mattifying primer, or if my skin's just not as shiny that day, it's just going to preserve what's going on underneath the skin. So it looks exactly like skin, just more even, more bright, and just overall, it gives you more of that flawless finish that you're looking for. I need very little powder with this to make it last on my skin, which is such a big plus. I can get quite oily throughout the day. I have a full wear test when I first got this foundation, just showing you guys exactly how it looked and how it wore on the skin. It makes you look flawless with such little effort. It truly is just one of a kind. And it does say it has this ingredient called fermented arnica, which is supposed to help with redness and irritation in the skin. I can't say exactly if I've seen that much of a difference because I don't wear this every single day, but I can say after wearing this foundation for a couple of days, like in a row, I don't get any sort of irritation in my skin. I don't break out from it, and I really enjoy this, and I highly recommend it. Although I do feel like Haus Labs might have a good Black Friday sale, but I think either way, this is worth picking up during the sale season. Another Sephora Collection product here. This is the contour stick in the shade number 3, medium to tan. I've talked about this product so many times. It's also included in my project pan, so I am working my way through this, and I think that this is such a good cream contour if that's what you're looking for. It does look quite dark, and when you first swatch it, it is very dark. It's a little bit jarring, I'm not gonna lie, but you need the tiniest amount, and I mean like just tap and then blend it out and see where it is from there, and just layer if you need it. But usually I do not need to layer this, and I get such good pigmentation out of this. I love this because while it's still a contour, it's still a brown, so it's a cool dark brown. So on my skin, I feel like it looks a little bit more natural than if I went to something that was more grayish brown. I think that this blends super easily, really pigmented, and the colors are slightly more natural for my complexion. It is Sephora Collection, so it's going to be 30% off during the sale. I would highly recommend if you're looking for something as a contour. And I will say this is a contour. Don't treat this like a bronzer because it can get quite muddy if you use it that way. Just make sure that you're using this to kind of sculpt out the hollows of your cheeks and anywhere else that you typically would contour. Like for me, I do the hollows of my cheeks, my jawline, and sometimes I'll do like my nose. Next up is definitely a tried and true, and you guys are gonna be like, Christina, you are so late. This is not a new product. But again, we're not talking about the brand new products. We're talking about the ones that are worth picking up. And this one is for sure worth picking up. This is the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush in the shade Virtue. This is a beautiful beigey peach shade. And what I love about this is while it looks quite bright right here, it is super natural on the skin. And I've seen this look amazing on all skin tones. And also this liquidy formula, we don't need to talk about too much because everybody and their mother has tried Rare Beauty's liquid blushes, but I love it especially because it does dry down on the skin, especially if you powder it. So they are super long lasting when you're wearing them. Even though they're super pigmented, they blend out almost seamlessly. Like it's very, very hard to do this wrong. I think the only way that you could do this wrong is if you put too much product. So go in with a light hand, blend it out, and then again, see if you need another layer. This is great because this shade in Virtue is actually also available in their mini blushes. And honestly, at like I think it's $18, maybe $14, but at that price point with a discount on top of it, it's gonna last you. It looks tiny, but I'm telling you guys, these last forever. And this shade in particular, I think is gonna be one of the most universal shades in the line. Yet another product and blush that I cannot shut up about is the Haus Labs Fire Moon blush. This is again, a beigey peachy nude shade. This is also part of my project pan, so I use this quite religiously and I cannot tire of this. There's just no way. This shade is absolutely gorgeous. It's more of a warm peachy beige here. It definitely looks like it would be too dark on the skin, but when you actually blend it out onto the cheeks, it gives you such a beautiful natural flush. It has just a little bit of warmth to it to where it looks like it could just be a natural flush on my complexion, and I love that. There's just enough peach in it to still look like a blush, not necessarily like a bronzer. It's still very clearly a blush for me, but it's smooth, it's buttery. This formulation cannot be beat. It's super easy to apply on the skin. If you're afraid of pigmented blushes, do not be afraid of this one because while it is quite pigmented, it will blend out like a dream. It almost blends out similarly to like a cream blush. That is how creamy this powder is. It's so finely milled and I cannot say enough good things about this blush. Honestly, I just absolutely love this. I've used this on my cheeks and I've also used it kind of like a crease color or like eyeshadow color, and it looks beautiful either way. I have a couple of the Haus Labs blushes. All of them have the same really nice buttery pigmentation, but truly if you're gonna go for one of them, and if we have similar tastes in blushes, go for Fire Moon. Another product that I kind of touched on earlier that I think is actually worth it is gonna be these Patrick Ta blush duos. I have two right here that I kind of use interchangeably. I feel like they're so similar that you can do one or the other. The duo in She's Blushing right here, and then I also have Not Too Much right here. As you can see, they are quite similar. I have like a little reel where I'm comparing the two so you can see the very fine nuances to them, but Not Too Much is almost like a less saturated version of She's Blushing. I would say they're pretty much the same color family. It's just a case of, do you want something a little bit deeper or do you want something that's a little bit more subtle, not as pigmented, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's still pigmented. They're both still pigmented, but the nature of Not Too Much is basically not too much of She's Blushing. I mean, let's be real. I think that the creams are so beautiful. If you have oily skin, these lay down very, very nicely, especially if you set it down with the powders right here. The powders can be a little bit aggressive, like a little bit too pigmented if you layer them together. So I have gone both ways. I've gone just with the cream, I've gone just with the powder, but when I mix the two, like I layer the two, I will use probably half the cream, half the powder that I would use if I'm using them alone. Kind of, again, not gonna go too into it, but I think that these as duos are definitely worth the value. Like, I think you get a lot for your money because it's essentially two different products built into one. You get the mirror, you get the compact, you know? So these are great, and I think that they're still priced really decent. Another Sephora Collection product, and I am, as you can tell, talking a lot about Sephora Collection because you can only get them at Sephora. It's gonna be this matte bronzer, and this is in the shade number 2, Beach Bum Tan. It's so nice and creamy. This very much reminds me of a buttery high-end bronzer, the way that this texture feels. I mean, as you can see right here, it's very, very subtle, but when you actually get this on to the face, you can really start building this up. It doesn't take a lot to really start showing on the skin. And I like this one particularly because of that shade. I feel like it's more of a neutral leaning bronzer. It's still very warm, the way that you would assume a bronzer would be versus a contour. But if you can see in the pan here, there is a slight sheen to it. And I feel like that just makes the bronzer look a little bit more dimensional on the skin. And because it has that little sheen to it, it gives the illusion that this bronzer is kind of like blended in better, and you have less of a chance of this bronzer looking splotchy. For me, if something is gonna look splotchy on my face, it's typically a bronzer, and I get very little like splotchiness with this one, if at all. And it's super easy to blend into the skin. I like to go in with a super big fluffy brush just to warm up the entire face after using foundations and stuff to bring that dimension back to the skin. They're quite pigmented, but I will say that they're not intimidatingly pigmented, you know? Like, it going in with your brush, like one tap, is not going to give you an overload of pigmentation. So I don't think that you should be scared of this product. Probably the only brow product that I think is worth picking up during the sale, because other brands that I like are gonna have better Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, is the Rare Beauty brow gel. This is the Flexible Hold Brow Gel. This is almost like a liquid wax formulation, so you can mold your brows exactly how you want them without having them completely dry down, similarly to a gel where it gets crunchy. This is never crunchy. It leaves my brows still feeling very soft, and if I need to go in and kind of like adjust how my brows look, then I can easily do that with this. I love this because it is clear, so you do have a lot of versatility. You don't have to be super careful with it, and even though it is a wax product, you can still go in once you kind of shape your brows. You can go in with a brow pencil, a brow pen, fill in the rest of your brows without this getting in the way. I absolutely love this. This is actually one of the very few products that I am picking up for myself during the Sephora sale, and I have gone through tubes and tubes of this one. I just think it is so, so good. And I tend to have very stubborn brow hairs, so they like to just like kind of droop. And while this is not going to be the only product that keeps my brow hairs up, like if I want something where it's no budge, I will go in with this, let it dry, do my brows, and then maybe at the tips of my brows, I'll go in with a stronger hold gel. But either way, I am always using this brow gel. I absolutely love it. Who would I be if I didn't talk about lip products? You guys know lip products are my absolute favorites. And the first ones that I want to talk about with you guys are going to be these Eadem lip balms. These are the Chouchou lip softening balms, specifically in the shades Burnt Malai and Fig Sauce. These feel like luxury lip balms. They are absolutely incredible. So these are very much worth the hype in my opinion. I feel like they were hyped up and then very quickly just kind of forgotten, but I have not forgotten about these. I love them and I reach for them so, so often. So these colors in particular, I feel like kind of take care of both of my lip color moods. Like Fig Sauce is going to be slightly more berry pinky, while Burnt Malai is going to be more of a nudie peach shade. I have all of the shades. They're all very, very lovely, but if I had to narrow it down, these are the ones that I would recommend that you guys pick up. It does have this metal tip applicator, so when you apply it to the lips, it feels super nice and smooth and cooling. It really feels luxe when you put it on the lips. There's no other way to explain that. It's not going to be be the most precise applicator because it is quite rounded on the top. However, I'm not too picky about it. I like to just like smear this onto the lips, press my lips together, call it a day. These I think are a very good middle ground for everyone that wears like a squeeze tube lip balm. They're not too thin to where they disappear within like 20 minutes, but they're also not too thick to where they feel gloopy, or if you go outside and it's windy, it's gonna stick to your lips and get all over your face type of thing. I think that these hit the nail on the head for being an aesthetic lip color and also feeling very hydrating on the lips as an actual lip balm. Next, if you are someone that likes a thicker consistency with their lip products, I think the Amicole ones are definitely worth checking out. This is their lip treatment oil. The one that I have is in the shade Excellence, but they have expanded their range quite a bit since I first got this one, and I am interested in looking into the other shades because this lip oil also is such a great product. So it is a thicker consistency, like I said. I did an entire lip oil video where I talked about it, and this one definitely ranked higher when it came to more of that thick lip oil consistency. I love how this one is still a sheer lip oil, so you can wear it alone, you can wear it with a lip liner, you can wear it to top different lip products, and it completely changes it with the slightest amount of pigmentation. It's just so fun to play with. The different color combinations I've been able to achieve with this lip oil has been a lot of fun, definitely worth it for me. And this is going to stay on your lips for a very long time because it does have that thicker consistency. So I don't find that I have to reapply this too often. And it does leave my lips feeling actually hydrated after using it versus making them feel even more dry than they might have been before I put the lip oil on. Two lip products that I have on today, and both of them are from Merit. This is the Merit Satin Lipstick in the shade Ginger, and I actually feel like not a lot of people talk about Ginger. It was kind of released on the low and not really marketed too much when it first came out, but I bought it when it first came out and I have loved it. I think that this was the color that I was waiting for Merit to come out with when it comes to these satin lipsticks. First of all, the Satin Lipstick collection from Merit is probably my favorite one. Like, I love the Satin Lipstick collection. I feel like this is going to feel more like your traditional old school bullet lipstick. I mean, as you can see, it does have really nice pigmentation, but I would say that it's kind of like a light to medium, like light to light medium coverage. And because of that, it makes it look like such a natural flush on the lips. Even though it can be a little bit sheer, it layers so beautifully with any lip liner that I use it with. It just adds a little bit of brightness without it being too stark of a peach color on me. And also the shade Taupe in the shade Slick is definitely my go-to, like the one that I'm constantly reaching for because I feel like it is the most versatile. It's the one that goes with most of my lip colors. I love to use this in place of a gloss and also just in general on top of a lip liner. Now, this is not going to be a lip oil that I would suggest that you purchase if you're looking for something that's actually going to leave your lips hydrated and act like a treatment. This is definitely just for the aesthetic for me. They feel, okay, they feel like the NYX butter glosses, but even thinner than that and more pigmentation than that. So these two combined or just by themselves, I've gotten so much use out of both of them. I love both of these shades, and I think they're perfect for a medium complexion such as mine that wants that more nudie, maybe like peachy look, but you're not necessarily looking for something that's going to be too stark. You want something that you can wear for every day. These are going to be the perfect products for that because of that more light sheer formulation. So it's not going to be like you have to wear a full face of makeup to make this look like everything is kind of meshing together. Next, we have the Haus Labs PH lip gloss, like plumping lip glosses. Again, I have a full swatch video on these, and these still are some of my absolute favorite glossy lip colors. These do say that they're plumping. I don't know necessarily if I've really seen much of a difference when it comes to longevity in plumping. looking, but I can say that when I have these on, they sort of blur my lip lines and sort of plump up the lip lines to where the product isn't sinking in and accentuating them. So in that regard, I think that they are slightly plumping because they give the illusion that your lips are plump. Now, I love these in Guava and Cocoa. These are my most reached for shades, and I love Guava because it gives me a little bit of brightness to the lips without it being like a super stark bright pink. This is, in my opinion, more of a pinky brown, something a lot easier for me personally to wear on a day-to-day basis. I love it alone because it gives me this beautiful wash of pinky brown, and I also love it topped with more of a darker lip liner. I think either way is so beautiful. These are non-sticky. They again look a little plumping. They give you tons and tons of shine, and because of the texture of them, I do find that these are slightly more long-lasting than my average lip gloss. I feel like these definitely last on my lips, and they're super easy to reapply on the go. They have released a limited edition shade, which I am interested in. However, I already have these and I know that I use these often, and I don't think that I'm going to need any other colors anytime soon. My last Sephora Collections products that I want to talk to you guys about are going to be these All About That Shine sheer lipsticks. I have this in the shade number 2, which is Soft Twinkle, and number 3 in Desert Glow. And I have talked about these on my channel before, and the reason why I feel like these are so special is because these feel exactly like the Fenty Shine Slicks, the shiny sheer lipsticks that they have, like the lip shines. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but you guys know what I'm talking about. They pretty much are packaged in the same bullets, but these are absolutely incredible on the lips. They feel very hydrating, like a lip balm, like a stick lip balm, but they give you a lot of pigmentation on the lips as well. They're balmy, they're comfy, they're easy to apply. Again, these are going to be shades that if you have a preference for shades like I do, these are going to be really easy to wear by themselves or with a lip liner, with a lipstick, with a lip gloss, really anything that you can think of. They really truly feel like a shiny lip balm. And if you are someone that likes those gloss bombs, these are going to be similar but not melty. They're still going to hold their shape, but they will give you a bit of that glossy look to them. And something interesting about these is if you actually look closely to the bullets, it kind of looks like it has like this metallic sheen to it, but it doesn't look like that. It doesn't translate like that on the lips. It almost makes it look like your lips are glossier than they actually are, which I think is a definite plus. Alrighty guys, those are all of the products that I think personally are going to be the ones that are most worth picking up during the Sephora sale. Like I mentioned, again, there are tons and tons of products that I absolutely love that are available at Sephora. However, I don't think with the current sale, they're going to be worth picking up just yet. I do think you're going to get a better value purchasing them elsewhere with Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. If you do plan on shopping the Sephora sale, please let me know in the comments down below what you're planning on picking up. And if you already have shopped the sale, what are some things that you picked up that you are absolutely loving and you want to let everyone know that this is totally worth it? Please let us know in the comments down below. As I mentioned, I will be coming up with more recommendations videos for other sales coming up, and just in general, bringing you guys some updated makeup reviews, talking about old makeup that we have that may be similar to new makeup coming out that you may be able to pass on if you have existing products that are similar. So I have a lot of content ideas coming up for you guys that I'm really hoping that you enjoy. So if you guys want to stay updated on those upcoming videos, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on videos like those. As always, everything that I talked about in this video will be linked in the description box down below, as well as in the YouTube shopping tab for you guys to easily easily access. I do earn an affiliate commission whenever you guys purchase through those, and I really appreciate when you guys shop through them because it helps to support my channel. It allows me to continue making content for you guys here. However, if you don't, you are not obligated to, but I do highly encourage that if you do support a creator on this platform or any other one, to consider shopping through their links to show them a little bit of support. If you like this video and if you guys found it helpful, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!